Thanks for coming. A couple of comments. First of all, I don't think we played particularly well, but I'll never let that get in the way. It kind of bothers me when they take away from the effort of the other team. And I thought the other team played really, really hard, especially on defense, and they did a nice job of scheming up against us. But on champions, on defense, we played very well. Our secondaries played at a very, very high level. Eli Apple, graded champion. Conley, both those corners are playing great. Tyvus Powell, graded a champion. Raekwon, Josh Perry, and Tyquan Lewis, all graded out. And then the defense co-players of the game were Von Bell, played about as good as you can. He's playing at a very, very high level. And Darren Lee. So players of the game were Von Bell and Darren Lee. On the other side, not many. Didn't play as well on offense. And you had offensive champions with Curtis Samuel, and then the player of the game played outstanding, especially ran hard, but then also he's the best back in the country without the ball in his hand. Good man, good with it in his hand too. But it's Ezekiel Elliott, graded out champion. Special teams, player of the game, and this is outstanding to see, is Terry McLaurin. He downed the punt at the 2-yard line with an incredible effort. Had a tackle on punt, a great tackle, and then punt block was tremendous effort as well. So it's good to see a young guy like him that does everything right. Conley was the other special teams player of the week, and he's involved in 3 phases. And that's in addition, obviously, playing every snap on defense. Special teams, I don't have the stats in front of me, but as far as field position and coverage units, we're on our game. Still, I don't know if we try to field goal or not. We're still not settled. Jack we had 2 penalties on kickoff, and that's got to be addressed and got to get fixed. So we are. So with that, I'll answer your questions for you.
Front row right, Austin.
Urban, you just mentioned Gary on a couple of times. When you think about where he was a year ago to now, how far has he come? Where does he rank among those most improved players you've talked about?
Number one, he's a guy that a year ago, we all saw it coming. He was just a little undersized when he first got here. And he's a guy that, it's interesting, and I made a point to our team probably about 1,000 times, but every guy that I called up that's playing well does things right on and off the field academically. And Gary Conley is just hey Gary, how's it going? It's going great, coach. And that's a credit to the people who raised him, and it's just and Terry McLaurin, and another guy that's coming on like wildfire is Paris Campbell. Just another guy just does right. And I like to think that when people say Ohio State's not just recruitment players, but we develop them. And most kids are very playing great.
When did you guys start seeing him turn the corner?
Special teams a year ago, he became the Devin Smith as far as the gunner. I remember some of the great efforts he had on kickoff and punt. He's outstanding. He's one of our fastest players too. Nice long corner, 6 foot tall or 6'1", whatever he is.
Front row middle, Dave.
Coach, only 3 true freshmen have played so far. I know you guys have had 2 close games, obviously, but how many do you anticipate will play? I know you have 25 true freshmen. How many do you think will play?
At this point, I don't get upset about not upsetting. Just you wish you could get them in there faster. Nick Connor's so close, and Baker. Justin Baker had a good week. Offense line, Isaiah got in. I'd say the next one. Mike Weber should be coming back this week. He's a big guy that will probably play. Wide receiver KJ's, we got some depth at receiver. He certainly has earned the right to mix in there a little bit, but we're not sure we're going to do that yet. He had a little injury 2 weeks fine now. Just you wish you'd play more, but it's right now we got a little bit of depth.
And Kyle Berger, he's a redshirt freshman. What's his status? Is there a chance he might not play again, or?
I don't know. He retweaked his knee. I'm going to know more now, but I don't show him.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, he has been practicing.
Second row left, Ari.
Urban, when you go to a camp like Sound Mind, Sound Body in Detroit, there's 1,000, 1,200 kids there. There might be only 15 or 20 you guys are looking at specifically. Can you go back to your time at Bowling Green, and what were the challenges when you were a head coach of the MAC team where there might be 300 or 400 prospects at a thing like that? And how hard is it for a MAC team to differentiate themselves from the other MAC teams in terms of talent on their roster when you guys are all recruiting the same types of kids?
Yeah, that's a great question. That's it's almost like you let the big boys go through and snag who you're going to snag and just keep hanging in there. And that's where it's completely different when you go from Bowling Green to Utah to top 5 place. And each one, I've actually enjoyed Bowling Green recruiting as much as anyone, because you find those kids that you project a lot of times. Very typical for this team we're playing. I haven't researched their. I imagine they probably redshirt most of their linemen, and let them develop and get, because they're a really big physical team. And that's kind of what we did at Bowling Green. You redshirt your lineman, you go places and try to find that. Maybe the kid's an inch too short, but he's got great speed. They have number 29, or corner, is electric. I know their punt return, I'm not sure he's going to play, but he's electric, and he maybe is an inch or two shorter, so people overlook guys like that, but they're every bit as good as any punt returner we got. And so that's kind of the way you go about your
I mean,
business.
the challenges that you face here at Ohio State are obvious, going after the top kids against the top programs. But are there certain aspects to, recruiting at a place in the MAC that might be even more difficult in terms of roster building than it is here at Ohio State?
No, I think there's advantages. They're going to recruit against Toledo. I imagine, North Illinois is a top MAC school. So I imagine Western Michigan. It was always, historically, it was Western Michigan back when I was in Marshall. But you're going to recruit against those guys. But it's just the identification process is so completely different. Like you said, you're looking at 250 names. Each coach has 50 names. Each coach here has 4. There's a huge difference.
Second row left, Lori.
Coach, we've discussed quite a bit the difficult decisions you face on game days regarding your quarterbacks. What about during the weeks? How hard has it been to divvy up the practice snaps in a way that meets your satisfaction?
Not hard. It's both of them get reps. Both of them continue to get reps. The approach I've taken is Cardell started. He's a starting quarterback. I met with him yesterday, and JT has not beat him out yet. He's going to continue to have opportunities to do that because JT's a very good player, and Cardell's got to perform. We neither played that well Saturday, but a lot of it was extenuating circumstances about protection, and every time we didn't play very well. So it's not that difficult.
There have been some wild swings in the way people perceive conferences already early in this season. Could you just evaluate where you think the Big Ten stands in relation to
I don't have any idea. I don't know really if people have time to do all that. I don't know anyone else's schedule. I don't care. I want to work on punt when I'm done here in a minute. And we better, we got enough issues. I've been asked that question. Do you hear what this guy said? I'm like, how did they say that? I don't know. Well, this time a year ago, we were a really bad team, and we got better. So probably because our focus is on getting better and better and better, and that's going to be it. I don't want to ever hear that through this. If I ever hear one of our coaches talk about another conference, that's a problem. Because I don't want to go check what they're doing during the day.
Far left, Matt.
Just wondering how you would react to a game like Saturday. Like in our world, we deal with fans who are wringing their hands over this wasn't great.
Your world?
In media world, you know what I mean? In your world, when you look at the game, I mean, there were teams around the country that didn't play great but won. There's teams that lost. What's your message, I guess, going forward?
We got to get better. We got to get much better in certain areas. We will reward the champions. Spend a lot of time on that. Make sure we appreciate the great efforts, and then we got to get better. And I will say this: it's good to be in a routine. We're back in our routine now, and that's where I think I've grown. I don't care about all this conversation about the country. I think I finally learned, I've maybe come a little age of maturity. I don't care about. I'll do respect everybody's opinions, and we have a job to do, and we take it real serious, and that's it. Period. What about this? What about that? Done. Over. And that's my job to make sure that the most important group, these guys, the players, not you guys, the players, are staying locked in. And if I'm not locked in, or one of the position coaches are not locked in, that's not fair. So I'm sure everybody's got opinions. You went 38-zip, and what the heck happened? We didn't play very well, but on defense we played outstanding. Kicking game was pretty good. We had 2 penalties on kickoff. So what do you do? Work at it. And the biggest area of concern right now is our offensive line gets given a lot of credit around here. We are an offensive line driven, absolute offensive line driven program. Our success over the last 3 years and 2 games is because of our offensive line. And with that comes a lot of responsibility. We expect them to play much better. Is that putting it all on them? No. But when we play well, I put it all on them too. So we just got to play better. And the great thing is I have an excellent line coach and excellent players, and I imagine they're going to have a great week.
Staying over there to the left, Ralph.
Urban, you've had a lot of success with players like Braxton, maybe not as good as Braxton, but some. Where does your philosophy come from sort of this positionless, or you know, he's a guy who does a lot of different things, of using players in ways that maybe 10, 15, 20 years ago weren't really traditional ways of using a wide receiver or running back and sort of melding that. Where does that go from?
And then I think I told the story. It happened to change my philosophy on offense and approach to the game. And when we lost in Nebraska, I was at Notre Dame in overtime. And they were number 1, and we were in the top 10 and lost that game. And I walked in, and David Gibbons was our best player on offense. He's a wide receiver. And I walked in, and he's an emotional guy, great kid, great football player. Went on to play in the NFL for a while, and he was really emotional. I said, "It's going to be okay, man. We'll bounce back." And he said, "You don't understand, Coach. I didn't touch the ball." And he wasn't saying it like some kids, "Well, I need the damn ball." Not like that. It was just he didn't feel he helped the team win. And I remember walking in the locker room and was very upset with myself that we did not get him the ball. And it's hard to get receivers the ball. If they roll up on you at W, you can't get them the ball. It's not real hard. If you want to give them really good the ball, put them behind center 5 yards and snap it to them. And that's kind of where if you look over the years, we've done that with Jalen, we've done it with Percy Harvin, we've done it with Braxton Miller, done it with Dontre Wilson, done it with these really good athletes that need the ball in their hand. Now the next part of that is how do you create space for them? That's a little more complicated when people know you're not going to throw. The good thing is Braxton can't throw and will throw. So that gives you a little bit more.
How soon? I imagine even when Braxton was playing quarterback, you knew he could do this probably, right?
Oh yeah, that was our offense then, 2012. Snap it down and go right, and we're going to change it up and go left a couple times.
Front row right, Tim.
Couple, Urban. Number 1, Malik Zaire is a quarterback at Notre Dame, went down with broken ankles out for the year. You watched JT do that last year. Does that ever give you pause about running your quarterbacks?
Yeah, we didn't run them yesterday, I don't think, at all,
Mm-hmm.
or Saturday. Absolutely it does. And you just keep track of how many. A lot of times the injuries we've had at quarterback are from the pocket.
Yeah.
JT's wasn't last year, and Braxton's was a year. The one that hurt his shoulder. So the pocket's the most dangerous area in my mind. But obviously that's not going to change.
Yeah.
But we actually move the pocket quite a bit too nowadays, more than ever, because you expose them in the pocket more so than when you break the pocket. So those are all a lot of thoughts we have.
The other thing, guys y'all playing Saturday, they've won 11 or more games the last 5 years. They won the MAC last year.
I just saw that.
I know, but how are you presenting this to your team? They're also from the same division, not just the league, same division as Toledo, which went down and upset Arkansas on Saturday.
The good thing about they're off today, but they come in and they get their iPads loaded up, and their video was very good.
Mm-hmm.
They're a very good team offensively. The quarterback set all kinds of records. They're 305 pounds on the defensive tackles, and I'll watch, and it depends what kind of team we have. If we have an immature team, then I'd have to go berserk and have to make sure, not go berserk, but just have to really make a huge deal out of that. When you have a team that's really good on video, it's all about preparation, and our players will respect that. I do not anticipate a problem there.
Front row left.
Because
Doug.
they're good. I mean, that's the thing. They're 11-win teams. They've beaten Northwestern, Purdue,
Minnesota.
Iowa, and Minnesota. And they beat. I wouldn't call those upsets. I think these guys are very good.
Front row left, Doug.
Urban, you've talked about how well the defense played against Hawaii. Is there ever like a little, I don't know if competition is the right word, but between your offense and your defense on your team to sort of, I don't know, be the standout unit, or if the offense is playing really well, then the defense wants to be great too?
I hope there is. I hope there's a competition among units. I hope there's competition. I made a big deal of that in the meeting yesterday. There's been times around here where the offense kind of hung in there and, kind of held it together, but that's part of being a good team. And then you have to watch if there's any finger pointing. I can assure you there's none of that. If there is, that's when you have to kill it, but just healthy competition about we have to play better, and defense, it's more appreciation for what they do. We come in here and I'll have Coach Fickle will show 5 to 6 plays of extraordinary effort on defense, because a lot of times our players don't get to see that. Like saying Coach Warner will come up and show us 5 to 6 plays, and then we show a bunch of kicking team plays, and it's number one, to reward the efforts, number two, because a lot of times they don't see that. And I think appreciation for how hard the other side or the other phase goes is critical.
And I don't know how specific you can get, but just whatever with the offensive execution that you weren't as happy with, whether on the line or someone else, was it missed assignments? Is it bad technique? Is it just...
Every time we got to the second level, and usually we're a very good perimeter run team, I would put our outside perimeter run blocking last year the best in the country, the best I've ever witnessed. And we were not very good. And we had a speed option down there on the 1 yard line. Jalen missed his block was -4 yards. We had a couple of those push sweeps and some perimeter runs where we missed a block, and instead of out the gate, it was 8-yard gain. And when we're cooking, those are the ones that come out. And then we have protection problems and missed assignments up front. And that's the reason.
And final questions. Middle, Kevin?
Urban, were you at all disappointed with the performance of JT? He led you guys to a touchdown initially, but was inaccurate, threw late across the field one time and almost had it intercepted. You put him in the game for a spark. Were you at all disappointed that he didn't, really live up?
I don't think disappointed is the right word. I think we have two excellent quarterbacks, and I expect them to play very well. And neither of them played very well. So, disappointments, I don't like that word. We got to better prepare them. Thanks, guys.
Thank you very much.
Thanks, Coach.
Thanks, sir.